Hey everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day today. I did a workout earlier this week where I did 500-meter rows with 3 minutes between each of them, and man, that was tough. As I was doing them and as I finished up, I was thinking about all of the technique items that I wanted to improve upon with my athletes in my CrossFit classes, and I thought back to the time where I rowed for a year at UVA. While I didn't fall in love with the sport of rowing, I really picked up quite a few technique items on the ergometer on the rowing machine, and I wanted to share those today. So we'll take a few minutes, we'll break down the rowing stroke, and after that I'll go over a few typical problems that I notice some of my athletes have. If you're curious, my 500 times are also below. Thanks everyone. So to start off here, I'm going to break down the rowing stroke into 3 different parts. These are the leg drive, the back lever, and the arm pull. In the background, you're going to see me rowing through a few sets of my 500 that I talked about in the intro, and I'll use that to demonstrate your technique specifics here. You want to view these 3 parts of the stroke not as separate entities, but as 3 parts that blend into each other. You're going to initiate the stroke with a leg drive, then you'll be starting the back lever as the leg drive nears its end, and then once the back lever is almost completed and your legs have fully finished driving, that's when you start the arm pull. For those of you who have worked with a barbell, you want to feel as if you're hanging off the rower handle. This will ensure that you lock out your arms and not tense your arms on the drive, allowing you to utilize your legs as the impetus of the stroke into their fullest potential. Your drive will start in a similar position to a deadlift with a tight loaded lower back. Your upper back can bend forward and extend the handle as far as you can reach, but keep a tight loaded lower back as you do this. In regards to a clock face, your lower back should not extend past 10:30, the medium point between 9 and 12 o'clock on the clock face. This tight core that you have will enable your next action, driving through the heels, to be performed with maximum power. The beginning of the stroke starts by driving your heels into the foot plate. Your heels can come up at the front of the stroke like I just talked about. However, you really have to make sure that your lower back and your upper back are both in a strong position. Your power is driving through the heels, so you want to touch them down immediately. Don't sacrifice your tightness of your core just to reach further forwards. The next part of the stroke consists of driving through your heels, keeping your back levered forward and your arms locked out. Your back may open up slightly during the drive, however, by no means should it pass neutral, which is straight up and down. Even in my drive here, I believe that I've opened up a bit too much with my back, and I should still be leaning forward a little bit more. The next part of the stroke is where your back lever begins. This does not occur at a uniform spot for everyone. It depends a lot upon flexibility and body proportion. However, there should be a point at which you cannot comfortably drive through your heels while maintaining the forward back position. This is when you begin to lever from your back. Pivot your back from your hips with your arms straight for the second part of the drive. When your legs reach full extension, your back should be right around 12 o'clock straight up and down. This is also when our arms begin their pull at 12 o'clock. So right when our legs finish, our arms start to pull into our sternum. As we're pulling into our sternum, something to note is that our back should not extend past 1:30 on the face of a clock. This is the median between 12 and 3 o'clock there. If you struggle with leaning back too far in your stroke, try rowing with your feet not strapped in. When some athletes finish their pull, they're not quite pulling to their sternum. Depending on the angle that you lean back to, your sternum may be at a different height to where the straight chain path is. If it's too high, maybe you're leaning back too far. If it's too low, maybe you're leaning back not far enough. Up next, I just want to share my top 5 rowing problems that I notice with the athletes at my gym, and probably will be pretty uniform for athletes at CrossFit gyms or just athletes trying to learn the rower pretty universally. This most common problem that I would say I experience is athletes opening up with their back right away. This typically is before the legs have started driving, sometimes even before your heels have touched down. The first thing you do is open up with your back. It definitely feels powerful, however, it is not as powerful as driving with your legs and then saving your back drive for later. Similarly to this, not hanging off of the handle will wear out your arms faster. You shouldn't prioritize your arm drive, tensing with your arms, before your leg drive has begun. Effectively, you should be hanging off that handle, arms locked out, until really the end of every stroke. Another problem that I notice is that while our arms are the weakest part of our pull, their recovery dictates the stroke rate. Do not stick into your sternum. Your rest each stroke is returning to the starting position, your recovery, not resting with the handle on your chest. This throws off your pacing, your balance, and it makes the following stroke harder as the fan slows down. In total, it even reduces your total rest just because the recovery must now be rushed to maintain whatever pace you're trying to go. I touched on this error a little bit earlier when I was going over the breakdown of the stroke. However, if you typically pull more towards your chin, you're probably leaning back too far. You should spend some time rowing with your feet not in the straps. And if you're pulling too low, maybe to your belly button, maybe you should lean back a little bit more and use those strong back muscles that you have. The last item I want to talk on is dropping your chin. The screen is placed at the height that it's placed at so that you keep your chin up. This will place your lower back in a good position, as well as keep you leaning and reaching more forward in each stroke, and it'll keep this chain drive straight horizontally. Alternatively, if you don't want to look at the screen, you can focus at a neutral spot somewhere in the room, potentially on the horizon, just to keep your gaze even. Your back will follow wherever you're looking at, so will your head. So keep that gaze up. Hey guys, I hope you learned a lot about rowing technique in that video. If you did, please leave a like and a subscribe. That would be fantastic. If you're one of my old rowing friends from UVA here to critique what I said, absolutely leave it in the comments below. Or if you have any questions, leave those in the comments below. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.